Happy day, CNMI, and welcome to another episode of the Synodal Church. And in this episode, we are going to talk about the diocesan process of the Synod here in the Diocese of Chalancanoa. The Synod team tried to develop a process that could be easily adapted to the local community, since our diocese is relatively smaller in terms of population and even in terms of land area. However, we tried to make it sure that our efforts will make a huge impact in the church. The process started with the initial phase. During this time, a series of initial meetings was held to identify the sectors that need to be represented. And it was during this phase also that representatives or contact persons or contact agents who would serve as mediating agents between the church and a particular sector were identified. The second phase was the official launching of the Diocesan Phase of the Synod on Synodality. It was held last December 8 during the Feast of the Immaculate Conception and the closing of the year of St. Joseph. The third phase is the clergy consultation. In this phase, a series of one-on-one consultations were done to know how the priests are doing, perhaps to know also the things that can be done to grow in our ministry and in our local church. It was already done through the help of Father Charlie. The fourth phase in the diocesan consultation, with all the representatives or contact persons. In this phase, all contact persons or agents will be briefed about the whats and the whys of synodality. They will also learn the strategy or the approach to achieve an effective dialogue. So questions will be prepared to be used as a guide, but they may add to or subtract from it depending on the need. The fifth phase is the sectoral consultation. Here, the contact person will start organizing the different sectors that need representation, after which the process of dialogue will commence. It means that one or two persons will try to reach out to a particular sector in our society. For example, the farming communities. The contact person will dialogue with them to know about their situations, their struggles, their contributions to our society, their spiritual journey, and many other things, even including possible collaborative programs between the church and the farming sector or whatever particular sector. This is a laborious task and could take as long as 2 months to finish, with several sectoral consultations to accomplish. So please pray for our contact persons. They are our frontliners in this massive endeavor. They need a lot of prayer and support and encouragement as well. The sixth phase is the second diocesan consultation, and in this phase, all contact persons or agents will gather for a synod to discuss the fruits of their dialogue. This is where the church authorities and workers need to listen attentively, not only with their ears, but with their hearts, so that all the sectors, their cries, their fears, their joys, and even hopes for our society and for the church may be heard. The seventh phase is the third diocesan consultation. So after listening to the fruits of the dialogue between the contact persons and their represented sectors, it is now the time for the church to respond. What is the response of the church? Here, a synod composed of the clergy and religious, as well as all the contact persons, will hold a synod to talk about the proper synodal response. It could be a concrete program, or it could be whatever plans we could think of. The eighth phase is the diocesan synod, and in this phase, after a long and laborious process of dialogue and listening and planning, diocesan synod wherein not only the clergy and religious and the contact persons will gather. This is an open synod wherein all are welcome to attend so that the church can present to the public the fruits of our consultations, as well as the programs and plans to strengthen the collaboration between the different sectors and the Church. And this is the most important and the most awaited part of the Diocesan Phase of the Synod on Synodality, because finally, we would be able to see concrete steps towards the goal of having a synodal church and society. Synodality is a never-ending process. The goal is to make sure that the process of collaboration and inclusion, of dialogue and listening within the Church will continue. The Synod is simply a prelude to the never-ending process of walking together as a Church. Programs developed must be applied and sustained. They should also be allowed to evolve so that new and better ways of sustaining a synodal spirit may come about. Our Synod needs a lot of support from the people. This is a very demanding endeavor wherein a huge amount of energy and human resources will be needed. In order for this process to work, we will need the participation of all sectors in our Church and in our society that lie in the peripheries. It is crucial that this process be done always under God's inspiration. So please pray for us. Pray for our Synod workers, our contact agents, as well as all the participants, so that we may remain open, humble, and zealous in our mission to build God's kingdom here on earth. In the next episodes, we're going to have guests whom we will interview, whom we will talk to and listen to, so that we may be able to understand their situations, their journeys, their struggles, and their hopes and dreams for our Church and for our society. Si Jesus en pambendice.